Hi, I'm Andy Cameron Smith, and I'm joined this afternoon by John Fisher, who is the Chief Executive of CHIC. And we're going to have a chat all about the last 15 years of CHIC as it comes to celebrate its milestone 15th birthday this year. So, John, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you just take me back to the beginning? What was the thinking behind the creation of CHIC, and where and how did it come into formation?
So government in the mid-noughties created a fund to support regional consortia across the country to try and get some collaboration in the housing sector for delivery of what were then decent homes programs. So procurement and service delivery became more efficient. That was quite successful. I was involved with one in London, which needed a bit of support, and then came back, having done that, to my office in the Midlands, and there was no consortium in the West Midlands. So, long story short, brought some of ARC's consultancy clients together and agreed with them that there was an opportunity here for them to be more efficient and effective. So, 7 brave organisations agreed to form CHIC in 2009, and after creating a business plan, which was supported with some grant, CHIC was launched in the middle of 2010.
Okay. Can you provide a little bit of detail about the sector that CHIC works within and what CHIC's impact has been in that sector and why it is that the work that you do really matters?
So CHIC works mainly in the affordable housing sector, and the original business plan remains true today, just at a bigger volume. And what we're trying to do is help housing clients, housing landlords, save money by procuring more efficiently and then aggregating spend through the supply chain, so we can create both more efficient outcomes and more social value. That's successful. So why do we do it? The real bottom line is if we can do stuff more efficiently, there's more money available to improve people's homes. So more people get better homes, and we're able to build more homes. And that's what the business plan says. We've just now grown at a significant scale in the same sector. We still do some work in other sectors, but fairly limited. We respond to that. We understand the social housing sector, absolutely motivated by the need for tenants to have the best outcomes they can. So across the asset management series of activities, building safety, repairs, builders merchants, planned investment, new build, decarbonisation, that's the space that we're in.
So you've been here since day one. You must have seen a lot happen over the 15 years. How has CHIC evolved over the years to where it is today?
So, yes, I was here at the beginning. The idea and the name were 2 separate traffic jams on the M6, so that's where we grew it from. Clearly, the founding members had to believe in it, so a feasibility and business plan. But what it set out to do, which was deliver asset management more effectively through collaboration, hasn't changed, just the volume has changed. We do the same stuff, we just do a lot more of it for more members. What I like to think of as CHIC's USP in particular is we don't always only look at it from a member point of view, from a landlord point of view, working with the supply chain. We also partner with the supply chain. In the CHIC team, we've got people who are technically experienced and competent. They're asset managers and development people, as well as procurement professionals. So when we're working with our members, we understand what it is that they're trying to achieve, and help them do that efficiently.
So obviously the social housing sector is big right across the UK, in England and Wales, but then also Scotland, and obviously things happen in Ireland as well. And there's been a number of challenges for the sector over the years. Well, what are some of those major challenges that you've seen the sector have to face while CHIC has been operating, and what are some of the current important issues it's facing today?
So for me, the development of asset management as an important objective, strategic asset management, was a key change, which I've been working on most of my career, But in the last 15 years, that has fundamentally changed in the sector, that landlords recognising investment in existing homes is as if not more important than building new homes, because the income is being paid by people paying rents for the current homes. So asset management becoming a more important and understood as a more important plank of what landlords do has changed and continues to change. We're still not as good at it as a sector as we should be. And then underpinning that, the Grenfell disaster put quite rightly a significant focus onto building safety and people safety. The Building Safety Act's an outcome of that. So another significant change at Alarms Law, damp and mould, disrepair, more recently have come to the fore. And all that has really shown us that as a sector, we could do asset management better. CHIC is about helping organisations do asset management better, working with the supply chain.
So for you personally then, looking back over those 15 years, can you pick out a few kind of key highlights and big achievements that CHIC's had over those years?
I can pick plenty out. But for me, what we set out to do with the Brave 7 in 2010 is still what we do now. The business plan objectives haven't changed, just the scale of them's changed. Over that time, we've achieved significant savings for our members, both in terms of their costs of procurement, but also the cost of delivery by contractors being able to work more effectively, by separating materials from labour, by working with merchants, making van stocking more efficient. So all sorts of proactive activities that we've been involved with have driven savings for members. Savings equal more outcomes for their customers. And as we've succeeded with that, then the organisation's grown. So seeing growth as progressive based upon the quality of outcomes and reputation has been really important. And with that brand, the CHIC name has changed slightly, but the brand hasn't. So we've got decent brand recognition across now the UK. We've grown from just being in the West Midlands to working right across the UK, and that continues to grow. But at the heart of that is that CHIC is a member-owned and governed organisation. And there are some organisations trying to work or doing some work in the public sector who aren't really representing members, and that's again been at the heart of what CHIC set out to do, has maintained. So maintaining that, I see it as a major achievement. Growth has brought benefits for members. When we started CHIC, the typical transaction fee, the addition effectively to a piece of work that was being done through CHIC would have been 8%. There will be savings against that 8%, but it will be 8%. That's now sub 2%. So growth has brought efficiencies for members.
And most recent achievement for you as well is achieving the gold standard status. So that must be a real reflection for you and the team and the efforts that everybody makes.
Yeah, so the launch of constructing the gold standard set quite intentionally for government a high bar for public sector procurement. And there are 24 recommendations for the achievement of the gold standard. And we set out, when that was published, procuring a new framework for development services, aiming to achieve the gold standard. We participated in a working group with Constructing Excellence, and that framework, and more widely what we do, has been through independent validation under the auspices of that group that secured gold standard accreditation in the latter part of last year. For me, that's just huge recognition that the professionalism and quality of what we do at CHIC, the standards we set for ourselves, are being achieved. There's always stuff we can do better, and we want to keep doing it better, but achieving that standard and working alongside other gold standard consortia, for me, is a great outcome.
Yeah. So thank you, John, for taking us through the history of CHIC and explaining where it's making a real difference today. But are there any final thoughts or reflections you'd just like to share with us on these 15 years?
Yeah, we haven't touched on the social value outcomes and delivering through CHIC's activities the desire and objective to deliver greater social value outcomes was absolutely the heart of the original business plan. It's quite hard to do because it's working with contractors and other supply chain partners to get them to deliver social value outcomes for the spend that's going through. So we're doing that, and we're doing it quite successfully. But to up our game effectively, we launched a new social value strategy 4 years ago, and we launched an aligned charity, CHIP, and we now every year transfer some funds at the end of the year from CHIC into CHIP, and we're directly supporting community projects and getting individuals distant from the workplace into work through that funding very successfully across the geographic area we work in, and therefore supporting directly communities and housing. Investment is the consortium's name. Community housing investment in people is CHIP's name. So we are effectively, hopefully, I think, practicing what we preach, and finally seeing the people angle within the CHIC team. The CHIC team has grown significantly over 15 years, from sort of half a person to now over 50, and being able to see people come in with the right social motivation, but working professionally to achieve what we are achieving and be part of that team, for me, gives huge satisfaction.
Yeah, so it really seems delivering for members, delivering for staff, delivering for residents, and delivering social value is a really good legacy from this first 15 years of CHIC.
And collaboratively with our supply chain partners.
John, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.